All right. So today we're doing one of our toughest deep dives yet. We're looking at Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer, the Milwaukee Cannibal.
Hmm.
Our sources cover the whole just shocking story, the 17 murders from 78 to 91, the rituals, necrophilia, cannibalism, and then, the trial.
Yeah.
And our goal here, it's not just about listing the awful details, it's trying to understand that central conflict from the trial. How could someone doing these things, someone diagnosed with serious disorders, still be found legally sane?
That's exactly it. That paradox is really the core of what we need to unpack. The sources confirm the diagnoses: borderline personality disorder, schizotypal personality disorder. I mean, these point to severe issues.
Right. Big time.
But the jury looked at the evidence, the law, and decided he met the standard for legal sanity: 16 life sentences.
Mm-hmm.
So we really have to trace how his compulsions developed to see why the law saw, well, calculation where doctors saw illness.
Okay, let's start at the beginning then. His childhood environment. Born in 1960, sources mention a really volatile home life.
Yeah, his dad, Lionel, a chemist, often busy or studying.
Hmm.
His mom, Joyce, described as tense, a hypochondriac. Dahmer himself said he felt unsure of the solidity of the family. Constant arguing.
It sounds incredibly stressful for a kid.
Absolutely. And there seems to be this specific point just before he turned 4, a double hernia surgery. He was apparently happy before that, but afterwards became really subdued, quiet.
Huh. Teachers noticed, too, like emotional abandonment.
They did.
But
They saw the parents were distant, distracted, and then the really disturbing fascination starts, also around age 4.
the animal bones.
Yeah, he saw his dad clearing them out from under the house. And he wasn't scared or grossed out. He was, the source says, oddly thrilled by the sound. Called them fiddlesticks.
Wow, fiddlesticks. That's
That's
something.
It really is. And it wasn't a passing phase. He started collecting insects, then skeletons of small animals, chipmunks, squirrels, started preserving them in formaldehyde.
And the really crucial part here, his dad, Lionel, actually helped him.
Right. Lionel thought it was, a healthy scientific interest.
Yeah.
So he taught Jeffrey how to properly bleach and preserve bones safely.
That is just, it's kind of mind-blowing. He's trying to encourage science, but he's accidentally giving him the tools, the how-to, for the rituals that defined his crimes later.
Exactly. The technical skill was there, handed to him, and the obsession grew. In high school, he's dissecting roadkill. Then there's that awful story from 75.
Dog incident.
Yeah. Decapitated a dog carcass he found, nailed the body to a tree, put the skull on a stick, called it a prank for a friend. It's chilling.
And around this time, he's becoming isolated and outcast. Starts drinking heavily at 14,
Mm-hmm.
called alcohol my medicine.
Mm-hmm. And his fantasy life is just exploding.
Yeah.
Fantasies about dominating, controlling a totally submissive male partner. And it's always linked with dissection.
He even tried to act on it once, right? Age 16, waiting with a baseball bat.
Yes, he hid, waiting for a jogger he found attractive. Didn't go through with it then, but the intent was already forming.
Then comes 1978, just 3 weeks after graduation. Stephen Markex, 18 years old.
The first actual murder. He lured Hicks back to his house, promised him some beers. When Hicks wanted to leave, Dahmer snapped.
Bludgeoned him with a dumbbell, strangled him, and then the necrophilia started immediately.
Lied away. And the disposal, it wasn't panicked, it was methodical.
Yeah, you mentioned that. Dissected the body, used acid on the flesh, crushed the bones, scattered them. For a first kill, that's incredibly organized.
That's the key thing. That elaborate ritual for Hicks, it set the template. Erasure, domination, but also this strange kind of processing. It would just get more focused on keeping parts later.
Okay, so between that first murder and the next real wave, there's this period of, downward spiral. Lots of drinking.
Definitely. He bombed out of Ohio State. GPA was like 0.45,
Yeah.
all due to drinking. Then got kicked out of the Army in 81 for the same reason. Alcohol was constant.
His dad sent him to live with his grandmother then, right? In West Dallas, hoping maybe that would help.
Yeah. Change the scenery, maybe get him off the booze. Didn't work. He got arrested for indecent exposure in 82. And worse, his internal stuff was escalating.
How so?
He started getting frustrated when partners would move during sex. It broke the control fantasy. So by 86, he started drugging them, slipping sedatives into their drinks. He literally trained himself, he said, to view people as objects of pleasure.
Just completely dehumanizing them in his mind.
Exactly. Then there was that bizarre incident where he read about a funeral and tried to dig up the coffin to steal the corpse.
He actually tried that. Wow. Failed, though.
Yeah, unsuccessful.
Hmm.
But it shows the direction his thoughts were going.
Yeah.
Then 1987, Stephen Twomey, That seems to be a major turning point.
Dahmer claimed he blacked out, right? Amnesia. Just woke up and told me he was dead.
That's what he claimed. Said he must have killed him in a drunken rage. But he also said this is the point where he basically stopped trying to fight the compulsions.
And this is when the preservation thing really kicks in, wanting to keep parts.
Yes. With Tuomi's body, he tried to keep the skull. Boiled it in soilax and bleach. Used it for, well, sexual stimulus, he said. It eventually got too brittle. He crushed it, but the idea was there.
He finally succeeded in keeping parts with Anthony Sears in '89.
Correct. That was the first time he permanently kept anything. The head and genitalia. Preserved them in acetone, kept them in his locker at work.
Unbelievable. Okay, so May 1990, he gets his own place, the Oxford Apartments on North 25th Street.
And with that privacy, things just went to a whole new level. Neighbors started complaining about terrible smells almost immediately.
What did he tell them?
Oh, excuses, broken freezer, dead tropical fish went bad, anything to deflect.
And this is where the confessions later revealed his motive for keeping the parts.
Exactly. He said it very plainly in his confession. It was, and I'm paraphrasing slightly, his way to remember them, their physical beauty. He said if he couldn't keep them their whole, he could at least keep their skeletons.
That desire for permanence, it connects back to that feeling of unsure solidity from his childhood, maybe. Trying to possess beauty, make it permanent.
It certainly seems linked. And that impulse led directly to cannibalism.
Ernest Miller, September 1990, the first confirmed instance.
That's right. He kept Miller's heart, liver, biceps, parts of the legs, wrapped them up, put them in the freezer. He said he ate some out of curiosity and also to feel like they were even more a permanent part of me. It's about incorporation, possession on the most visceral level.
God. And then 1991, the drilling technique. This is maybe the most disturbing part.
It's horrific. Drilling holes into their skulls, injecting hydrochloric acid or boiling water into the brain.
Why? What was he trying to achieve?
He wanted to create a permanent submissive state, like a zombie, basically. A live-in partner he could completely control, who wouldn't leave, wouldn't resist.
Did it ever work?
No.
Yeah.
There's that awful account with Errol Lindsay in April '91. Dahmer drilled, injected him. Lindsay actually woke up, said something like, "I have a headache. What time is it?"
Oh my God.
Dahmer then killed him. That failure, the inability to create that perfectly controlled partner, it seems like it just pushed him further.
Towards what? The ulcer?
Exactly. He wasn't just collecting randomly anymore. He had blueprints, an actual plan for an altar.
What did the plan involve?
It was very specific. 7 skulls, all cleaned to flesh. The complete skeletons of Miller and Oliver Lacey, all arranged on a black table, blue lamp, black shower curtain backdrop. He'd sit in the black leather chair in front of it.
For what purpose?
He called it a place for meditation. Somewhere he thought he could draw power from, a place he could feel at home. He was literally trying to build a stable world for himself out of human remains.
The level of delusion is just staggering. Yeah. But his ability to carry this out in secret, it relied on people, the system, not noticing. Which brings us to May '91.
The Konarak synthesymphone incident, just a catastrophic failure. Konarak was only 14. And just horribly, he was the younger brother of a boy Dahmer had molested years before.
Dahmer drugged him, drilled him, then Konarak somehow got out.
Yes, he stumbled out onto the street, naked, disoriented. 3 women found him, called 911 immediately.
So the police came, Officers Belcherzak and Gabrish.
They did. But Dahmer managed to talk his way out of it. Convinced them Konarak was his 19-year-old lover, gave a fake name, said he was just drunk after they had a fight.
And the officers bought it, even with the women there.
They bought it. The women were trying to tell them he's just a kid, he's bleeding. One officer reportedly told one woman to butt out and shut the hell up. It's just awful.
They returned him to Dahmer.
They walked him back to the apartment, recorded it as a domestic dispute.
And Dahmer
killed him right after they left. Another injection of acid. That incident, understandably, caused huge outrage and racial tensions in Milwaukee later. A total system breakdown.
His luck finally ran out 2 months later, July 22nd, 1991. Tracy Edwards.
Right. Edwards, 32. Dahmer lured him back, put handcuffs on him, but Edwards fought back. Punched Dahmer, escaped, and flagged down police.
And this time, the police went inside.
They did. One officer, Mueller, saw an open drawer in the bedroom, full of Polaroid photos.
The pictures of the bodies.
Yeah. Dismembered bodies, victims posed. Mueller looked at them, turned to his partner, and said, "These are for real."
And then they found everything.
Everything. 4 severed heads in the kitchen, 7 skulls in the bedroom and closets, hearts, muscle in the fridge, a torso in the freezer, 3 more torsos, dissolving in a huge drum of acid.
The medical examiner's quote, "It wasn't a crime scene, it was like dismantling a museum."
That sums it up perfectly. The sheer scale, the meticulousness. Dahmer confessed almost immediately. Said something like, "For what I did, I should be dead."
Which led to the trial. He gave this huge 178-page confession, pleaded guilty but insane to 15 counts, and the whole thing became about his mind, mad or bad.
Right. Legally speaking, remember those diagnoses, borderline, schizotypal, serious stuff? Indicates major problems with thinking, emotions, social interaction.
But not necessarily legal insanity.
Exactly. Legal insanity usually means you either didn't know what you were doing or you didn't know it was wrong. A complete break from reality. Those diagnoses don't automatically mean that.
So the defense argued the paraphilia, the necrophilia, drove him, that it was a sickness he couldn't control.
That was their argument. A sickness he discovered, not chose. An uncontrollable obsession.
But the prosecution saw it differently.
They did. Their argument was very clever. They acknowledged the psychological issues, the paraphilia,
Yeah.
but they focused on the planning, the calculation.
How so?
They argued he knew right from wrong. He was cunning. He chose his victims, planned the murders, the disposal. And crucially, they argued he used alcohol strategically.
To lower his inhibitions, not because he was compelled by the alcohol.
Exactly. He drank to overcome his own sense of wrongness, to be able to kill. That implies he knew it was wrong to begin with. If you can plan, use tools like alcohol methodically, you're showing calculation, not just blind compulsion.
And the jury found that persuasive.
They did. Found him legally sane. Convicted on all counts. Wisconsin didn't have the death penalty, so it was 15 life sentences. Stacking up to, well, more than he could ever serve.
His time in prison wasn't long, though.
No, just a couple of years. Sources say he became a born-again Christian. Was baptized in the prison whirlpool in May '94. Apparently, he questioned if it was a sin for him to even keep living.
That conflict ended violently.
November 28, 1994. Another inmate, Christopher Scarver, beat him to death with a metal bar from the gym equipment. In the showers.
Did Scarver say why?
He claimed, "God told me to do it." He also reported Dahmer's last words were something incredibly bleak, like, "I don't care if I live or die, go ahead and kill me."
Just a grim end to a horrific story. What about his parents?
They stayed in contact, Lionel and Joyce. Visited him, professed their love for him, right up until his death, despite everything.
So we've gone from those childhood fiddlesticks, the animal bones, all the way to that incredibly detailed macabre altar blueprint. The escalation is just breathtakingly fast and dark.
It really is.
Yeah.
And if you look at the whole arc, the thing that really stands out is how many times intervention failed. The unstable home life early on, the signs missed during his Army discharge, and then that absolute disaster with the police and Connor accent the sum phone.
Yeah.
Each failure basically gave the compulsion more room to grow, to become more sophisticated, more ritualized, until it reached that horrifying endpoint we saw in his apartment.
It makes you think. And here's something specific from the sources for you, the listener, to chew on. Dahmer got suspended from his job around July 15th, 1991, then fired 4 days later, right before he killed his last victim. He killed several people in rapid succession in those last few weeks. Considering he described his compulsion as this incessant and never-ending desire, how might that sudden loss of external structure, losing his job, relate to that final frantic burst of killing? Did losing control of his normal life make the internal compulsions explode? Something to think about.